Hi there, everyone. It's Gloria with Glory Bee Resale, and I'm here to do a what sold from June 29th to July 5th on eBay, Poshmark, and Etsy. First thing to sell was this vintage 1960s 80 Asian watercolor on board 8x10. This sold for $39. Cost to me on it was $2.99. Next item to sell on eBay was this fused glass irises. This was a window ornament or to put in front of a window. It's 8 inches by 8 inches. This did have a little, you can see in this picture, there's a little paper that got into the glass that was on the back side of it. I bought it at a yard sale for $1 anyway because I thought it was very pretty. Sold very quickly for $24.65. So I sent somebody an offer after they liked it. And they bought it. It sold pretty within a couple of days of me listing it. Next item to sell, and this also sold fast after I listed it. And this was a vintage 70s Old English sheepdog footstool. And it had 4 wooden legs. This I bought at a local store at a half-price sale for $5, and it sold pretty quickly for $79, so that was a nice flip. Next item to sell was this vintage small wall basket of matches. Well, the matches were not in the basket. Um, this is what the basket looked like. Hung on the little wall. I displayed it with matches. And this sold for $12, and the cost to me on it was 50 cents. Now over to Poshmark. First thing to sell was this pair of double style I think these are curtain tie backs. You could also put them on a wall and throw a little towel over them. They had a cast iron look. They were resin though. These sold for $15, and the cost to me on them was $4. Next item to sell on Posh was this Talbot's Coral 100% linen long sleeve Henley blouse. This sold for $20, and the cost to me on it was $4. No, sorry, cost to me on it was $3. Next item to sell was this Leandro toga figurine girl. Actually, looks like a girl probably just got out of the shower with her towel and her head wrapped. And this sold for $60. And I had this for quite a while too. It sold pretty quickly after I put it in a bathroom display. And I may have marked it down a little too because it's down to $60. I did pay $25. Next item to sell was this vintage 1980s pair of ornate Homeco beveled glass um, wall hangings, and these sold for $25, and the cost to me on them was $4. Now over to Etsy, and if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. Makes it worth my while to do these. So over on Etsy, the first thing to sell, and I had this a long time, was this bird cage. It sold for $129. I'd say I had this, I don't know if I got it last summer or maybe even the summer before at an estate sale. I picked it up. Um, and it finally sold. I just showed it displayed in a home and it sold fairly quickly after that. So I guess the just basic pictures of it was not doing it. And it sold for $129. Cost to me on it was $15. Next item to sell, and I do well with these. This is a set of 5 wooden tulips that go into, into a garden. They're vintage. They were used. These sold for $25, and the cost to me on them was $2. I bought these last year, something similar, and I also a big lot last year for just a couple of dollars. I think there were 4 last year. And then I saw them again this year, and they were half price for a big bag of them in Goodwill. So I bought them, and they do quite well. So again, $25 cost me $2. Next item to sell, I bought this on a trip maybe a month ago to Ohio. I stopped in a little store and I picked up this wood pair of horses, mid-century. This sold pretty quickly after listing it for $65, and the cost to me on it was $8. Next item to sell was another bird cage, which I also had for a long time. I think I had this one longer than the other. Um, I'm going to say it came from Boston from an auction, and this sold for $139, and the cost to me on it was $30. So I displayed this one also. I guess that's what it took. Both of them sold in the same week. So I was very happy with that to get rid of them. They were nice cages, but again, I just had these for the longest time, and these pictures, I guess, did not do it justice. So happy to see them gone. Next item to sell was this vintage Mexican girl boy um, pottery coasters, and these sold for $25. Cost me on them was $5. Next item to sell was this 7-Up little cubby crate box. This sold for $89. Wow. This sold for $89. I picked this up on Craigslist for $10. So, not Craigslist, Facebook. Facebook Marketplace. I picked it up for $10 locally. And it turned over fairly quickly for $89. Next item to sell was this I had for a while. I think I marked these down. Was this vintage White Plains greeting card book. And this is Santa Visits Mother Goose complete. And this was a pop-up book in very good shape, and it still had all Mother Goose's things and pop-ups with the blackbirds coming out of the pie and Jack jumping over the candlestick. So it was all still in very good shape and came with a box. And it sold for $35, and the cost to me on it was $5. Next item to sell, I picked this up on my trip to Ohio too. And this was a vintage men's jewelry box from the 90s. And this sold for $29. And the cost to me on it was $4. And it pretty much flipped very quickly. Within the week, I'd say, anyway. Next item to sell, more of these tulips. This was a lot of 8, and these sold for $39. Cost to me, $2. So, we sell. Next item to sell was this, and the last item to sell was this set of uh, black country wooden wall sconces, that candle holders, and these sold for $39, and the cost to me on them was $2. And that was everything that sold for me from 6:29 to 7. If you're still around, please give me that like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. I hope your sales are fantastic, and if not, hang in there. They'll pick up as we go into quarter four. So I will see you next time. Bye.